Tacoma cruising with bad drivers and high gas prices. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Robmotive. That's right, today I'm out cruising around with plenty of bad drivers and taking a look at the gas prices again. You know, it doesn't seem there's any ceiling at the moment. But real quick, before I get into the video, if you haven't before, make sure you smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. So today I'm just out cruising around. I haven't had the Tacoma out for 2 or 3 days, something like that. I like to drive it a few times a week. Of course, if you're new to the channel, we have a lot of new people right now. And by the way, just past 30,000 subscribers. Mind-blowing for me. I just want to thank everybody out there who's recently joined the channel or anybody that's been on for a while. I've got some folks that are on this channel that were on since day one. Just amazing to me. I really appreciate it. But anyway, I do like to get out, take the Tacoma out, get everything flowing through it. You know, I think the worst thing you can do for a vehicle is to leave it sit. You know, they're meant to be driven. There are parts that need to be lubricated. You gotta take them out once in a while. Now, one thing that I did notice after not driving it for a while, and I am on the roughest road that I travel on in my travels, is how stiff everything is. Now, it is, of course, a relatively chilly day. It's 58 degrees here, which I know is warmer than a lot of places. But for me and my truck that's pampered, you know, garaged, it is dirty. It is a chilly day, and I do notice everything feels a little bit more stiff than normal. Probably a combination of the temperature and also the fact that it has sat in the garage for couple 3 days, something like that. I do miss driving it. You know, I do love the Toyota Tacoma. I think I've professed that many times on the channel. It's awesome to drive. I love this setup that I have right now. I am convinced that I finally did find the setup for me, and that is just lifting the front enough to level out the truck, to get a little bit bigger wheels or tires rather on the truck, and I'm good to go. Now, let me preface that by saying that I do love hugely lifted trucks. You know, if I could get the same ride quality that I have right now with, say, a 6-inch lift, I wouldn't have a problem doing that because I really do dig the way they look. But I do have to be comfortable driving it as well, so this is the perfect setup for me. Now, I mentioned bad drivers. Man, I don't know if it's just down here in South Texas or if everything has really gotten worse lately, but man, every time I go out, it seems I encounter bad drivers. And I'm just driving along. I mean, I'm not driving aggressively. I'm not looking for trouble. I'm just driving. You know, on today's journey, I've been cut off or at least had cars jut in front of me 4 times since I've been on the road so far this morning. And I don't know if people are just in such a hurry, they just can't wait. Maybe it's those high gas prices. They figure the shorter the period of time they sit waiting to go, the less gas they'll burn. Except for when they have to floor it to get across in front of me when they could have just waited, since I think every time this has happened, there's nobody behind me. But whatever, people do it. Now, it hasn't been that close. It's people going across the road in front of me, either from the left, from the right. You have to pay attention all over the place. It's like all over. It's crazy. So it has been a bad driving day so far as that goes. Other people, not me. I still enjoy driving the Tacoma around. Now, let's talk about gas prices a little bit. Jeez, you know, with everything that's going on in the world right now, which is absolutely insane. We're not going to get political here. This is not a political channel, but it's just crazy. I have to hold myself back. But the reality of it is it's affecting all of us daily in the form right now of gas prices. Now, you know that's going to trickle down to other things, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about in a second. But what I've seen so far, the highest price I've seen is $3.99 a gallon here for regular. Now, That's less than a lot of places I know. I've seen $5, upwards of $6 in other parts of the country. But $3.99 a gallon here in deep South Texas oil country, or at least the state anyway. The highest I've seen, or rather the lowest I've seen, was $3.98, 1 penny different. And it happened to be, if you saw one of my other videos, that gas station that sits out by itself that was so much higher the other day. So go figure. Must be when they get shipments in and how much it costs them. Who knows? Now let's talk about diesel. Oh man, diesel fuel. I actually saw, I think it was $5 or $5.20 a gallon. $5.20 a gallon for diesel fuel. And you know who that's got to be hurting, and that is, or those are rather, the independent drivers, the guys out there that own their own trucks, that are paying their own fuel bills. That's got to cost them a fortune. Now, the company guys, of course, they're not paying for their own gas, but this is where the trickle-down effect is that I was talking about. Of course, if the companies that are hauling everything all over the place are having to pay more money, well, then obviously that's going to trickle down to the goods that you and I pay for. Everything, food, appliances, you name it, car parts, all that stuff. Everything is going to get more expensive because those folks are not going to absorb those increases. They're going to be passed down to you and me. That's a bummer. That sucks. You know, I did a video the other day talking about whether or not gas prices are high enough to dump my Jeep Gladiator, my lowest performing when it comes to fuel economy at the moment. Almost as bad as my Ram. And the reason I don't say my Ram is the lowest is because it's new and it's so close to what the Gladiator is getting. I believe once it breaks in, it's actually going to get better fuel economy as a full-size truck than my Jeep Gladiator. So speaking of fuel economy, right now as I'm out here burning gas, talking to you guys, I'm getting 18.3 miles per gallon. It actually just jumped a tenth while I was talking. 18.3 miles per gallon. You know, it's not a hypermiler, that's for sure. I just spoke with someone via the comments today, as a matter of fact, that was asking me how to get better fuel economy in their 4-cylinder Toyota Tacoma that they're getting. I forget what they mentioned. It was really low, particularly compared to one they had just traded in. And of course, there's no answer to that. I mean, there are so many variables when it comes to fuel economy. You know, your driving style, how heavy is your foot? You know, I don't know. Drive a little bit smoother. Don't jump on the gas pedal as soon as you take off. Whether or not you're driving on higher speed roads. I mean, that 18.3 mile per gallon is primarily city for me. You know, I drive the highest about 55 miles an hour on probably, I don't know, 40% of my trips. So 60% of my driving is below 55, typically below 40 or 45. So I obviously would be getting better fuel economy if I was driving on higher speed roads. Of course, it depends on the terrain, where you live. Are you constantly going up hills? That burns more gas. Are you hauling a lot of weight in the bed? Do you have things in the truck that you don't need to, that could reduce weight and contribute to higher gas mileage? So my point is, you know, when people ask that kind of a question of me, who knows? I don't know. I'd have to be sitting there in your truck with you, observing how you drive, know how much gas you give it when you take off, what are you hauling, all that kind of stuff. So there's really no good way to answer. It's unfortunate. I would love to be able to help out and have that magic answer to improve your fuel economy, particularly my own, but it's just not possible. Anyway, I just wanted to come on, bring you guys with me, kind of share the experience of my Toyota Tacoma cruise with bad drivers and high gas prices. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're seeing in your area. Where are the gas prices today? I'd be curious to know. Real quick, if you didn't in the beginning, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I do have 2 additional channels, Robmotive FST, all about full-size trucks, and Robmotive JT, all about Jeep Gladiators. check them out. And if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.